Our next speaker today is Nat Wood, who is the Associate Director of the Federal Trade Commission's Bureau of Consumer Protection. He's here to tell us about IdentityTheft.gov, which was one of the 2016 award winners. Nat continues to innovate within his organization, and he's going to tell us more about that. Please welcome Nat Wood.
Good morning. It's exciting to be here today. It was really fun to be involved with this conference a couple of years ago and to win one of the innovation awards. The Federal Trade Commission and Leidos are back today. They're at Booth 9. The Consumer Sentinel Network Analytics Project is doing some really interesting things that are sort of in some ways related to the work I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes. So I hope you'll check that out too. And I want to acknowledge my colleagues that are here from the FTC and the team we've worked with from Leidos. I'm going to talk about IdentityTheft.gov, which is a project and a website to collect information from people who have experienced identity theft and help them recover from the crime. The project is based on the idea that recovering from identity theft is easier with a plan. I probably don't need to tell you much about identity theft, except it's a huge problem. There's huge financial cost and there's huge emotional cost for the victims. So when you go to IdentityTheft.gov and click Get Started, you are asked to fill out a series of questions. So you're going to report what happened to you. And everything that comes after that is based specifically on what happened to you, not some sort of generic templates. So this is getting into the site. The site will then generate a recovery plan that'll walk you through each step in the identity theft recovery process. If you tell us that someone opened up a account that wasn't authorized with Capital One, it will say contact the fraud department at Capital One. So it is reacting to what you have reported to us. The use of the website, everything I'm going to talk about here today is free. We offer chat and phone support, and the site's also available in Spanish. So one of the things you get when you go to IdentityTheft.gov, and after you've reported the crime to us, which then goes into the Consumer Sentinel database, which is available to law enforcement agencies across the country and a few around the world, one of the things you get as a victim is the FTC Identity Theft Report. This is an official report to law enforcement under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, so it triggers a bunch of your rights. When you're an identity theft victim, there's certain pieces of paper that it's really important to get to move on with the process. One is an official report to law enforcement. And this is the easiest way to get one and the best way to use one. So then you have that available to share with creditors, credit reporting agencies, and other people that might want to know that you're really a victim. We've been working really closely, this is one of the developments since we announced the site, really closely with law enforcement, with the International Association of Chiefs of Police and the National Sheriff's Association to make sure that police around the country understand this and can tell people that if they're a victim that they can go to IdentityTheft.gov. That saves time for law enforcement as well as the victims. The site's been very popular. We take in about 900 reports every day into the system. We're closing in on 1 million reports, and about 2/3 of those people have actually used the account that they created. What I'm going to talk to you about now is a big innovation that we've done in the last couple of years. So working with the IRS, we've provided new resources that identity theft victims can use if they've been affected by tax identity theft. So that's if someone uses your social security number to get a job or file a tax return in your name. You might find out about that if you get a message from the IRS, or you might find out if you get a message from the IRS saying, what do you mean someone's already filed? Tax identity theft continues to be a big problem. These are the main types of identity theft that we see. Tax identity theft peaked a couple of years ago, according to the reports to the FTC, but we still, even last year, we got more than 80,000 reports of tax identity theft. So you go through the same process. If you're a victim of tax identity theft, you report that someone else has filed a tax return in your name. You're going to get your recovery plan. You're going to get your identity theft, FTC identity theft affidavit. The third thing you're going to get if you're a victim of tax identity theft is a filled out copy of the IRS tax identity theft affidavit, IRS form 14039. So the system will generate that for you. The way it generates letters to creditors and other types of information that are filled out with what you've provided to us in reporting the crime. This is the IRS form. Worked very closely with the IRS to make sure that this was suitable for their needs, so that we had very secure protocols for transferring this information from the FTC to the IRS. Is there anyone here from the IRS? All right, so I'm going to talk about them a little bit. I don't think it's a secret that they're really under-resourced and stressed. So we really appreciated their ability to engage with us and think this through and provide the internal staff resources to make sure that this is going to work. Because of course this is something that requires interagency cooperation. There's no way for us to just say, hey, we're going to send you this stuff, I hope you can use it. So when you get the IRS tax affidavit from IdentityTheft.gov, that'll become part of your system. It'll be transmitted to the IRS, and you can download a copy for yourself. Of course, you also get a recovery plan, and here you see in the right bar that it's explaining that you also have your IRS identity theft affidavit. We just turned on this functionality in January, sort of at the start of tax season, and we really wanted to make sure that we had a period to watch how it was going and observe it before we made a big deal about it. So we didn't really announce it publicly until March. But even so, more than 15,000 people have submitted the IRS tax identity theft affidavit through IdentityTheft.gov. We think that's great. It's a very high percentage of people that are reporting tax identity theft to the FTC. We wouldn't expect that number to be at 100% because some people may have filed the form before they came to our site, or there may be other reasons why they don't need to file the form. So we're really feeling very good about how this is going so far. Let me tell you just a little bit about other things we're working on. We continue to work with other federal agencies, law enforcement, and the financial sector to make sure that the FTC identity theft affidavit is used, and we continue to see a lot of pickup of that. The credit reporting agencies are important partners in this. We're looking at ways we may be able to integrate more with them in the future as well. There are a few things that you can do. If you work for a law enforcement agency and identity theft or consumer fraud might be things that you're interested in either investigating or that may be sidelights from other cases, you can join the Consumer Sentinel Network. The best way to learn about that for you today is to go to booth 9 and talk to the people from the Consumer Sentinel Network who are here explaining both what that system does and what some of the additions they've made to it related to analytics. Anyone, if you know someone who's an identity theft victim, I hope you'll refer them to IdentityTheft.gov. That's the place to start. We also have free materials about identity theft and other topics. You can get those from ftc.gov/bulk order. These are some of the items related to identity theft. Of course, if you get these, it's generic information. If you go to the site and you get a recovery plan, it'll be personal to what happened to you. There's other ways to keep up with useful information from the FTC. For example, we send out scam alerts by email. You can get those by subscribing at ftc.gov/scams. I will be around for a while. If you have any questions about this project, or you want to hear more, or you think there's ways that you can use the informational resources from the FTC, we're really happy to do that. And my last plug is, again, stop by booth 9, learn about the Consumer Sentinel Network, and you can vote for them in the competitions today. So thank you very much.